Come on, dude. How many years have we been going through this procedure here? I mean, I'm actually halfway through next week's show right now. Besides the first couple minutes of just random fucking chatter doesn't interest me. I'll go out here and pick up. Because I got some awesomeness going on.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms.
What's up? What's up?
Well, I know what I feel.
How's everybody doing?
Please tell me your love is real.
Hey, Galen Heath, Coach in the yard. Larry Shope, how are you? Dave Richardson, what's up, man? How you doing? Robert Donahue, Kevin Geesey, Kevin Carpenter. Hey, Kevin, saw you today. Yeah, Michael Bradley's here, Conway Hayden, Mike Hayer. It's good to be back. We missed last week. And, man, let me tell you something. We had a ball. Absolute ball last week on Thursday. Sorry we didn't do the show. George and I were out fishing, and we had an absolute ball down in Venice, Louisiana. We went tuna fishing on day one, and then we went to the second day. A big storm blew in, so we couldn't go red fishing. So instead, we went red snapper fishing. And went out there and caught some red snapper, and that was a lot of fun too. So it was a great trip. We want to thank Journey South Outfitters and the team there at Shimano for taking us along with them. The hospitality down there at Journey South is second to none. Unbelievable experience with those guys. Great facilities. They just take care of you. I mean, it's a top-notch outfitter. Down there in Venice, Louisiana, in a place that I call the end of the earth. I mean, because you're like way down there, way south, and there's not much to do down there. So they have a great place there, a great place to hang out, great equipment, top-notch equipment that we fished with, and the boat was unbelievable. Just had a great time down there with Mo and Eric from Journey South Outfitters. If you guys ever get an opportunity or thinking about going down there, check into those guys. Those guys, I mean, they roll out the red carpet for you. Whatever it is you want, they take care of it. The facility is a beautiful house, a great screened-in porch that you can hang out in, and you didn't want for anything. It was very, very comfortable. Real good time.
And Mike, I heard that the boat wasn't too shabby either.
No, you're fishing in top notch equipment. They run a 39-foot CV with quad 300s on the back, and you're going out 90 miles out into the Gulf to fish for these tuna, and you roll out through there 46, 47 miles an hour, busting through those waves, and then no problem. Unbelievable equipment. Of course, they're sponsored by Shimano, so it's all Shimano, top end Shimano rods and reels for all the different types of fishing that we did. So that was really, really cool. I had my first opportunity to catch a tuna, which was unbelievable. Absolutely kicked my ass. I was not prepared for that. Not at all. I thought, no problem. There's no way a fish is going to kick my ass.
You met your match.
They say that the stronger you are, the harder the fish fight. The harder you pull, the harder they pull. And the strong guys usually the ones that die out the quickest. And It was so true. I mean, I was trying to horse this thing up, thinking I'll whoop its ass real quick. And no, that's not the case. You have to finesse them. You have to take your time. George is over there just hammering these things. And I was like, what is he doing to get these fish up that easily? I mean, he was just working these fish like crazy. I mean, he had the technique down, like down pat. I don't know. It was amazing. So, like to thank everybody for joining us again tonight for Tackle Shop Live. I am Mike Acord. This is George Acord right here. And behind the camera is cameraman Nick.
How's it going, everybody?
And we come to you every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. If all you guys that are on here would do us a favor and hit your share and like button, and let's see how many people we can get on here tonight. Tonight we have special guest on, Will Davis Jr. We were lucky to track him down and get him to come on the show tonight and talk to us about his win down on Lay Lake on the Elite Series, two Elite Series ago. And we're going to shoot the breeze with him and talk to him about his win, about his techniques. We're going to pick his brain like we always do, and we're going to ask him the tough questions and have him answer them to get all the information we can out of this guy, because he is hot right now. He's leading the Rookie of the Year right now, and he wants to stay there. He's hungry for it. When I was talking with him on the telephone, he is really hungry for Rookie of the Year, and he's really focused on that. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about that also. So I don't have a lot of announcements. We're rolling hard here at the shop and online at sfttackle.com. For all your tackle needs, whatever you guys need, you can call us here at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle, or stop in at sfttackle.com and get your equipment that you need. The season's in full swing right now. I know you guys are going through tackle. You can get online, you can order the stuff up, and we will get it out to you that very same day, and you will get it in your hands as quick as possible, so you can go out and keep catching those giant bass. But whatever it is, if you have any questions, we're here to help. We're all about helping you guys catch more fish. So whatever it takes, we will do it for you. Alex, how you doing? Was it Schmeiser and Jerry Otto and Chuck Reif is here? How are you, Chuck? Good to see you, buddy. Sam and Sam were in the shop the other day.
Sam was,
but we said to tell the other Sam, hey, what's up? And so nice to see you, Sam. Appreciate you stopping in the store. David Schottelmiles here. St. Cress, man, good to see you again, buddy. Jeff Gorecki, how you doing,
Can
Jeff?
we get to the bottom of this?
What's that?
David
Stottlemyre.
Thank you.
What? That's what I was saying.
Schottelmeyer.
Well, I know Dave real well, and he don't care.
I didn't say he did. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it.
He told me that as long as I get close, I'm good. David Stottlemyre.
Yeah, you got close, all right.
Tammy Geeman, Cayuga Tammy, they are up there beating up on your fish big time right now, Tammy. I am telling you that Cayuga tournament is very, very impressive.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, those fish are catching up there. Guess what? Kevin Van Dam. Holy crud. Isn't that nice to see that, Nick?
I'm glad to see that.
I am
Hey, Nick,
glad to see that.
When are we leaving?
You want to go right after the show?
I mean, Saturday night after work, I'm good.
Well, Mike said you could have off.
Yeah.
He's going to the tournament. You might as well leave too.
I mean, I'm ready to go. So I'll bring my boat to work. Meet me here. Let's go.
I guarantee you we'll catch a bigger bag too.
We'll go to Cayuga
You might.
and lay into them.
You might. But let me tell you, really exciting tournament, and really, really happy to see Kevin Van Dam doing so well. Hope he can carry through the tournament and get a W under his belt. He needs it really bad.
Did you see him this morning? His first start of his day.
No.
413 Smalley.
Oh, geez.
Next fish. 413 Smalley.
Wow.
Next fish. 4 something Smalley. And just bang, bang, boom, 23 and change.
Jeez, unreal, man. Wow. What a tournament.
But the problem is with that league, they zero everything now.
Yeah.
When you go to the knockout.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. The guys should get credit for that. I mean, it does get them into the next round. And I don't know. you know, and a lot of things can happen and things can change, and I guess it's
foolish.
all about adapting, but we'll see. But tonight is a night for us to get to know a guy who we've been following for a little while. Has been tearing up the Elite Series circuit as a newcomer. What do they call them? They call him rookie. As a rookie, but he is playing like
he's
a
not
big
a
boy.
rookie though.
He's playing like a big boy.
He's a rookie on the Elite Series.
I know,
but you know, him and his dad have took everybody's lunch money back at home for like the last 10 years. And probably the hardest decision for him to go to the Elites was probably taking a pay cut, because I mean, he probably won like
yeah, he won. He was. They were the team to beat on Lay Lake all the time.
not just Lay,
but those guys are hammers down there, and so we're not going to hold this up any longer. Let's bring him on here. Here is Will Davis Jr. Hey, Will Davis Jr. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about y'all, gentlemen?
Oh, we're doing great, buddy. Thanks so much for stopping in Tackle Shop Live. We have a big crew here that's checking in and watching the show tonight, and are really hungry to hear what you have to say about your tournament fishing, about your win on Lay Lake. And here on Tackle Shop Live, Will, like I told you, we like to know what is going on, how you caught them, what you did, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to pick your brain tonight, and we're going to pick it clean. We want to know everything. So get ready for us to get on you. And
we're hungry for knowledge.
And we're hungry for knowledge. And our listeners and our watchers here on this show are very hungry for it also. So we're going to definitely do it. But first of all, congratulations on your win on Lay Lake. I know there must have been a ton of pressure on you. You know, it's always hard as a local to do well and to come away with a win, but you didn't disappoint at all. How does it feel? And how's the family feel about it? And I know your dad's a big time tournament guy, and he was real excited to see that. It was a special moment for you guys on the stage there. So how's it feel to have that win under your belt?
It feels amazing. It's been a long time, it's been a long time to get where I'm at and compete against a lot of hammers around the house. So to make it to the Elite Series and then to win on your home pond in front of everybody, it's very special for sure.
I bet, man. I bet. Had to be one of your biggest wins ever in your career, as far as the prestigiousness of it. You have a lot of history there. You fished a lot of tournaments on that lake. Did it set up to the way that you usually fish, or was it something you had to do different?
It set up the way that I fished in 2 or 3 different stages. So I was running the shad spawn deal, a few bedding fish, and the current fish. So with that being said, I strictly like just fishing for current fish. But in that tournament, you had to space yourself out and do, different techniques for 4 days just to get the win. So it was very challenging.
Wow. Yeah. I guess the format with all the days that are involved there, you got to make sure you have enough fish for everything, and plus you have to catch some big ones. What was what are some of the things that you think put you over the top in that tournament? I know it was a close call there with Brandon doing what he was doing, but did you feel like there was things that you had to do to get that extra weight?
About 12:30 the last day, I tried and exhausted everything that I had. I had this one little key area that was upriver, and these fish pulling there late in the day and spawn, and I knew that creek has had a lot of pressure throughout the week. So I was just going there on a prayer, and luckily 2 4-pounders were in there. And I knew 1 4-pounder was in there. I found her Tuesday in practice. And what they'll do is they'll pull up there and they'll slide off in the mornings and hang out and suspend. Then later in the day, they'll pull back up. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So with that being said, I went in there to catch that fish, and she wasn't acting right. So there was another one up on the bank over there that just pulled up. She was white as a ghost, and I caught her. So that About 1 o'clock, I was feeling the heat of, or 12:30. I had to make a change to if I was going to win this tournament and leave that current. So,
Not to mention, you had to give up some of your honey holes and your secrets for this one, didn't you?
I did. You know, my dad, I told him when the tournament schedule come out and I made it, I was like, well, you know, what do you do? He said, you go win that 100 grand. So,
Yeah.
Well, I know some people down your way that we've known for a long time, and I got a little background on you, and you and your dad. I know you're the ultimate pro. You're extremely humble, but the fact remains that you and your dad are absolute studs in that region, and I know you did real well over the years, and that probably wasn't a real hard decision to make. I mean, it is an Elite Series victory after all.
yeah, you know, I enjoy fishing with my dad. It don't matter if we catch him or not, because one day I'll look back there and he won't be back there in that boat. So I cherish every moment that I get to spend with him on the water for sure.
Well, that's real true. I know Mike and I, and our dad, we fished many, many tournaments together, and that is very true words, my man. Fish them every chance you can.
Absolutely.
Well, your family is in the tackle business like our family. You guys have been around for a long time, and I don't even know if you guys have a count on how many spinnerbaits you made over the years.
It's been one
yeah.
or two.
One or two. Yeah.
He could probably sit there and put blades on a spinnerbait like this.
I know.
I
would like to.
I'd not bend a single split ring either.
I know. I'd love to see his split ring action. See how he did that.
I'm telling you, it's not even looking. It's just blades going on.
But you guys have a real nice business down there. Your dad, I guess did he start that?
He did
down there. Yeah,
he did 40 years ago.
Wow, that's fantastic. To have that. We're not quite as old as you guys. I think we're working on 33 years, but it's a great business. It's a fun business to be in. It's a tough business, very tough business. And see guys that make it long time and have their, have such a great following like Davis Tackle Company does down there. That's awesome. Yeah, that's an awesome thing.
So, Will, up here in our region, we have a lot of very similar fishing to what you have, minus the spots. Ours are smallmouth, but we have, a series of dams on the Susquehanna River ending up in the Chesapeake Bay, and we have the released water, usually from generating electricity, and it just sets those fish up. And, it's a totally foreign fishery to people who aren't used to that kind of current. First of all, it can be a little intimidating, but, you mentioned in your post-tournament summary that I'm not going to know what you guys call it, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it the scrounger style of head. You mentioned as one of your strongest baits in that scenario. And it's, I think, one of the most underutilized baits in that scenario in the entire country. And I was wondering if we could maybe get you to drop the juice a little bit on weight, how you set your boat position up, that whole cast and swing thing. Maybe just break it down for us a little bit, because like I said, a lot of our listeners here really relate to that, and a lot of them live around it and have no clue what to do, and they're watching to try to pick up a nugget. So I thought maybe I might impose on you to throw a little knowledge our way on that.
Absolutely. So from the scrounger, Aaron Martins, God rest his soul, but he used to fish Elite Series, and he came to my dad, was wanting to make the bait better, and they spent, I can't tell you how many weeks and almost a year on it trying to perfect it just right. So with that being said, they call it the shaky fish, and we make an 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 3/16, a half, 3/8. We make it all an ounce for ledge fishermen. But in the current, year round, day after day, I'm going to throw a 1/2 ounce. And the way that bait's designed, it's just like going down a bunch of laydowns down a bank throwing a square bill, but you're actually throwing this in a current. So I compare it to a square bill in the rocks. You don't hang up near as much, and it's all the way how you set your boat. So with that being said, I don't know how many turbines or turbines that y'all have up there behind your hydroelectric dams.
Mhm.
But down here we have up to 6, and most of them are 3s and 5s, and there's a couple 6s. But more water that you generate is usually the better. That bait is great year round, but when it really shines is in the fall and in the spring. The fall is when they come up schooling most of the time, and the springtime when they get off through bedding and stuff, and you'll catch a few of them on bed, but not many with it. When they get off a bedding around that current, they like to get positioned just right behind off them boulders where they can get something easy to eat. So with that being said, the boat position is definitely key with that. If I'm fishing a boulder, say 40, let's see, 25 yards above me, I'm going to try to get positioned parallel with that, just down from it to make that 1 o'clock cast to bring it down to it. So instead of throwing out there and letting it, and I'll let it wash, is what we call wash. I don't know if y'all wash a jig up there any.
We call it trout fishing.
Trout fishing. Well, you can trout fish this, and it's a deadly combination with that. So, but that's my first presentation. Is I want to throw up there at 1 o'clock and bump that rock, and when it comes over, it's going. I mean, if they're sitting behind it, and you make the right cast, you're going to get bit. But if you miss that rock by just 1 foot or don't give the right presentation, you can hang it up. And if that don't work, then I like getting above it on the same line and throw up there and let it drift down and get another presentation to, for that fish to look at a different angle. So it's really just determining how they want it that day, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So you're never getting above it and casting like straight into the bank or a quarter down and fishing it on the swing. Like we fish a lot of times we get above the object and we use our trolling motor to slow our backwards drift or stop it. And we'll cast either straight in to the shore. If you picture your boat parallel,
that's right.
We'll cast either straight in or slightly down. But what we're interested in is having that when the bait swings in the current, having it swing on that object.
I understand.
That's a different way. That's just how we do it here.
Right. And see, back here or down here in the south, when we fish behind these dams, we let the current do all the work for us. I mean, there'll be a lot of times I throw up there and I never click the handle. I just let it wash. And,
wow.
So, or reel, you know what I'm saying? I throw up there and just click my handle and let it just wash down through there. I let the current do it. And your hookup ratio is going to be tremendously higher by doing that because you got more force, you got the current, and then your rod. So, and the setup that's very dominant for me is a 7.3 MMA rod. It's a new rod that's come out here in Alabama. You need to check them out. They're called MMA rods, and I throw a 7.3 Daiwa Tatula on that. And I like the 7.3. I don't like nothing real slow, but I don't want nothing like an 8-1, but just in that sweet spot so I can catch up with my slack.
Yeah.
And then my line setup is 15-pound, just old school redneck red label. I mean, that's all. It's what's got me here. It's what's got me here, and it's not let me down. So you don't
watch it. Don't change it, right?
Don't change it. So
That's
with that being said, 15-pound has been the most effective for me, just because of the fact the smaller line, you run the chance of running, getting it frayed up, or 17 to 20. you just don't get that action right. You don't have that quiver. And then the bait that we got on there is all hand poured. It's a new bait that we come out with called the X-Swim Fat Minnow, and it's all hand poured. So with that being said, if you go buy different brands of minnows or fluke type deals, they'll have defects in the sides of them, on top of them. They're not poured exact because they're shot, you know.
Yeah.
With that being said, you're not going to have the right action. So with these hand poured, it's right on the money, and that's really crucial for that setup.
I know all about that. My partner Mike here. I mean, he needs about 10 bags of Zoom Super Flukes to fish 5 bags, because if there's a bend in them or a dent or a pocket, he just throws them on the floor of the boat and gets another one out.
Oh yeah,
I don't ever buy any. I just collect all the ones off the floor of the boat and fish with them.
It's got to be right, man. It's got to be.
Gotta be.
It's got to be right. It's got to do the right thing, and I
get it.
Can't stand it. Yep. So the current is working that bait for you.
Yes, sir. 90% of the time it is.
Wow.
Only difference is they're catching spots.
Yeah.
And we're catching smallmouths.
Yeah.
But yeah. I won that national championship behind Pickwick Dam, or actually Wilson Dam on Pickwick, last November. So with that being said, I weighed in 3 days. I weighed in 3 largemouth. The rest of them were smallmouth.
Oh, smallmouth. Yeah.
Wow.
That place is known for smallmouth.
Yeah.
And good ones too. That's trophy smallmouth water there.
Oh,
that set up good for you too, didn't it? The Bass Nation Championship.
It did.
I mean, you probably qualified for that thing. You're probably like licking your chops. You know, locally here on the Potomac River, they're doing the qualifier for the championship right now for the Northeast.
That's right. They're hard to win. Them Federation guys, they bring it. You know.
They do.
Anybody that downs a Federation guy, they're down in a lot of hammers, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're definitely fishing against the big fish of the pond.
Ain't no doubt.
Yes, sir.
So let me get this right. I think I'm confused on this. So you're fishing if your boulder is the boulder's in the current, and your boat's below the boulder, and you're throwing at a 1 o'clock position up current, right?
Correct.
That's right.
And you're trying to bump the rock, and at the same time, you're not reeling your reel.
Well, let me rephrase that. When you're at that 1 o'clock position, you're going to reel it just very slowly. Just to keep it bumping the bottom. You don't want to reel it fast.
Yeah.
But when you're above it, though, that's when you're going to let it slack.
Swing. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Then the other way of doing it is to go above the boulder.
That's right.
And then throw out so that you swing into the boulder.
I'm telling y'all too much. Lord help.
Well, this is what
we do it.
Yeah,
we do that. We do that here on the river. But
that's what we do.
But
we don't like to throw up current too much because we fish ledges. We don't fish boulders as much as we fish ledges. So when you fish a ledge and you throw up current, you're instantly stuck. I mean, it's instantaneous. Right. So we fish.
There's no path around that boulder.
There is, because the ledge runs, completely across. So, so we sit on top of the ledge and throw just a fuzz hair above the ledge, so that by the time our jig gets down, it falls in behind the ledge, and we let it swing in behind the ledge. Then
that's right, and that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point with you saying that. Yeah. If you got a lot of current on, it's kind of like shooting doves or ducks or anything that's moving.
Yeah,
it's just like a moving target, but it's really not. So you really have to lead your distance from that rock to your lure point to make it all hit at once.
Yes, absolutely. So that's exactly what I wanted to get at, is that right there. And I totally understand it now. I totally get it. But so you're using a 1/2 ounce, and the current, I saw the current. It was a fair current.
Yeah, it was just one wheel on.
Yeah, and how deep a water is that there?
It just depends. Like when I was up in them turbines up there, it was like 40 to 50 feet. But
wow.
But out there where I was catching below the dam, it was still inside the dam. It was probably anywhere from 8 to a foot and a half.
That's
okay.
that's how our tail races are.
Yeah, real shallow.
You know, real shallow, like all rock. You
All
got
you're all drawed up when you're going up there.
Oh yeah.
we
Yeah.
we run a lot of jet boats on most of that stuff. However, on our river, the Susquehanna, we have the dams. Every so many miles there's a dam. So
Right.
you got a pool at the bottom, and then when you run up, you're in kind of getting into that pucker factor of 8, 9, 10. But some of those tail races we can run with a glass boat.
But you better not be off.
But you don't want to be off the channel, that channel that's not marked.
That's called zero room for error.
Yeah.
Because when you hit something up there, it is a rock.
Yeah, you tear everything
There's
up.
no sand, there's no wood. You're hitting a rock, and when you hit one, you just turn around and go home because you got to go get everything new.
So depending on how we're fishing, what kind of tournament we're fishing, we also have jet boats, so we run a lot of jet boats. So
They let y'all run jet boats up there in tournaments.
In the team events, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. They don't let us do that down here.
Yeah, we can run a jet boat. So the rest of our river it has no dams on it, so it's a foot wide and a mile wide and a foot deep. That's what our Susquehanna River is. So you got to have a jet boat to run the rest of the river. But the bottom, 1/3 of the river is where the
bottom 60 miles is a series of like 4 reservoirs, and you can only run to the tail race in like 2 of them with a prop. The other ones you're never going to make it.
You're never going to make it
because the bottom one is the Conowingo. Not only do you have the water release, but you also have the tide. The bottom of that river is tidal. So, you get a low tide and they turn the dam off and you manage to get up there, you might not manage to get back out of there.
Yeah, it'll drop out 3-4 feet real quick.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny you say that. Me and my dad was up there it was July 3rd, 2 years ago. We was in the turbine hole, which is 50 foot deep. We was catching them up there at night on big spinnerbait. And it was a Friday nighter out of beeswax. So we mosey up through there. It's like 7-1, the tournament was. We get up there and they're supposed to run water all night. We get up there and I'm in my nitro. I get up there and it finally got good and dark. I get in there before it gets actually dark, because it's a lot easier coming out of that thing than it is going in. So with that being said, about 11 o'clock, I hear something go zzz, like that right there. Well, they turned the water off. And when they did, they turned it off with some authority, buddy, because it dropped it like 4 foot. Well, I didn't know this, but a guy went off on the other side of the dam. Is a main road up there on top. He ended up drowning in his car. So that's why they turned that turbine off like that.
Oh.
So we sat there to 3 o'clock in the next morning before they turned it on to get out of there.
Oh, gosh.
And that is one of the most eeriest things ever, sitting there and hearing fish splash around you and bugs biting you left and right. And
Oh,
that was a beautiful sound when they sounded that horn.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
bet.
We're suffering from no rain here, and our water levels are down. So now we have all these beautiful tail races that are perfect this time of the year, but there's not enough water for them to generate. So you just get these little windows. And, the problem is they really don't like to generate on the weekend.
Mm-mm.
So they save that water until people are home in the evenings. So if you're fishing a tournament in our neck of the woods, you can't count on that when it's like this. So now that adds a whole different level to the strategy. And our, we're post spawn, and, a sudden drop in water, a sudden spike in water temperature, all kinds of stuff that current really cures. So now we're changing gears. Like, every weekend during the week, Monday through Friday, you can smack them in the mouth. But on Saturday and Sunday, when they don't turn the dam on,
Yeah, you better be coming up with something.
Yeah.
Well, so I could have sworn I saw you catching some fish on topwater too.
So I had this little bar that run out, and it's a community hole, but really not a community hole. We all hit it, and there wasn't a boat sitting on there, and I needed a couple of fish. I was waiting for the sun to get up to go catch some bedding fish. So I pulled up there, and they were blowing up, and I caught a couple, nice ones, but not, 2-pounders or so. I went and caught some bedding fish, and I pulled back up there, and I told my cameraman, I said, listen, I said, if we get bit and they're not schooling, I said, it'll be a Cro-Magnon, as I call it. It'll be a giant. So I throw it up there, and I'm just, and I set the hook, and I'm like, oh, God, don't come off as a big one, And I get up there, and there's 2 of them on, and then, of course, the big one comes off, and everybody's like, you should have boat flipping. Well, yeah, I should have, but looking back at that video, only that 4-pound spot had one hook in the corner of her mouth.
Yeah.
So she was going to come off regardless. And I'd rather try it safe than lose 100 grand because of something stupid,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you're at that stage of the day.
Well, you would have swung it. The big one would have fell off, hit the gunnel, fell in the water, and everybody said, why the hell were you boat flipping that?
Oh, yeah. People are going to talk. I don't care
Yeah.
what you do. So.
Yeah. So the other bait you were using was a shaky head. Was that in the current too, or was that?
It was in the slack. But
that
I was catching spawners at the dam on that shaky head in slack water.
Yeah.
I throw ours. It's a little wheels, 3/16. That's the only size I throw, unless I'm fishing like 30 foot deep at Lake Martin or something where it's super clear. With that being said, I throw green pumpkin, our shaky worm, which is the original shaky worm on there. And I was throwing that on 12-pound tests, red label, Seagar. But I was trying to intercept these fish in all different stages. I was trying to catch them spawning, some coming to spawn, post spawn, and then completely like way past post spawn. Because them fish will start bedding up there all the way in 1st of February. So with that being said, I got 1 or 2 boulders that's up that river that's out in the middle, and I saved it for day 3 and 4. And I knew if I could get bit off of it, it'd be, a Cro-Magnon, a 3 to 4 pounder. And I can only get 1 bite off of it a day.
Yeah.
And just lucky enough, I got me, a couple good ones off of it, 1 each day, 3rd and 4th day. But the deal with that shaky head and that current, you throw that up there, like how I messed it up while ago. I was talking about throw up there and don't reel. Well, you kind of throw more at about a 3 o'clock angle with that deal. Throw it far as you can, and then you let it wash. You don't even do nothing. You let it wash. You'll watch me in the videos. I'm just letting it wash. And and it'll feel like you're home, and you just pay attention to that tip just to move.
Yeah.
Feel like it's heavy, and then she's got it.
She's got it. Wow. That's awesome. I love that. I can relate to that so much, man.
So I can too.
That type of bite, that type of cast, the whole, I can totally relate to that. And that's just awesome stuff.
It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. What do you got, Nick?
Hey, Will, I think it's so interesting that you're saying that these fish, first thing in the morning, they're kind of hovering out there waiting to move up the spawn. Were you seeing a lot of other anglers, maybe first thing in the morning, they're going to catch those fish that aren't there, and you're kind of on a different level there as far as you're kind of looking at them, you're like, they're over there, but they're not there right now. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Growing up on the lake and fishing there for basically 28 years of knowing what's going on, knowing that creek, the way that creek sets up, it's like a tidal. So with that being said, them fish won't pull in there until that water gets high. And once they turn it on later in the day or later in the morning, it takes it all day to get there just right. Yeah. So when they don't pull it, that's when they back off and they just suspend. So I knew that them guys going in there, they'll catch 1 or 2 on a buzz bait or 1 or 2 on a glide bait or something, whatever they like to do. But they wasn't going to establish a pattern in there doing that because they didn't have the confidence.
Sure. Did you have a lot of competition? Did a lot of guys run the tail race?
They was 4. I think there was 4 of us up there total 5 or 6 one day, but they just come up there and left. But
Yeah.
Kobe Krieger, super nice guy. Me and him, I pulled up there. I tell you how good of a guy he is. He knew who I was, and he said, "Man," he said, "you fish around me, whatever you need to do. I'll leave." He was wrecking them one morning. He's like, "Man," or one evening, he's like, "Man, I'll pull out your weight if you want to." I said, "No, sir." I said, "No, if it's meant to me to win, I'll win." You know, I said, "You ain't bothering me." So, mad respect to him. Matt Heron, he was fishing another deal that was out there, and I knew how he's fishing. I wanted to hit that, but I never did. And there was a couple guys that showed up there and fished a couple times. Steve Kennedy, he fished up there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours one day, and there's a couple other guys that showed up there. But that's another deal. If you don't have confidence in what you're doing up there,
Yeah.
you're not going to catch them.
Yeah.
Well, all those guys you mentioned are tail race guys.
Ain't no doubt.
They're all tail race guys, and you know Steve Kennedy was throwing a 6 or 7 inch boot foot swim bait, and Krieger was probably throwing a spinner bait. And I mean, those guys are good in a tail race.
Oh, they are. They are. He every time I look back there, old Steve Kennedy, he'd have a striper whooping his butt, boy. Throwing that big swim bait. I was laughing. Yeah.
You see what GDP puts on here for you there, Will. Lay Lake only has 20 fish in it, and Will caught them all.
That lake can be very, very tough. Very tough.
So then, the creek that you went into to catch spawners, was that nearby, or did you have to run a pretty distance for it?
I had to run a pretty good ways,
Did you? Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
So now you're getting ready to go up north. Are you a northern smallmouth guy, or is this going to be blazing some new territory?
This is going to be a new page.
This is going to be exciting stuff here. So what? St. Clair is next on the menu,
It is. It is.
and then where do you go?
We go to Champlain, and then we go up to St. Lawrence to close this chapter this year for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna like that stuff. That's for sure. Well, you got the current on the St. Lawrence. You got the largemouth on Champlain. You got a little something for everybody.
That's right.
As we like to say, we got a little something for everybody here. So, yeah, very good. We're going to be watching you close, Will, on your northern swing.
Absolutely.
See how you do. You know, we're big Federation guys, and forever. We're huge supporters of the Federation. So, you know, we had a radar beat on you ever since you won the nation championship.
Yeah.
And you know, it's pretty interesting when you win that tournament and Bass comes walking over and says, "Oh, by the way, you're qualified for the elites." That's not like a little. That's just not like, "Oh yeah, I'll go." That doesn't work like that.
No, it's kind of like how I took it was like it's a do or die moment for me.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's a big decision.
you know, with them putting 16 grand on the back burner of this really helped out a lot. But, you know, forking out them $5,000 and $10,000 checks left and right to Bass for the next tournament, it's tough as a rookie, and it's tough for a lot of guys, you know.
Not to mention the amount of money you're about to spend on gas.
I know it. I know
Driving to Michigan.
I know it.
Golly, from where you're at.
The way I would roll in there, being a rookie from Alabama, is I'd have the Kid Rock turned up so loud and the windows rolled down, and I'd just come bumping up into that frickin' town, man. Like, they
That would be
call
cool.
me Will Rock, baby.
Yeah.
Let them know you're in town.
That's right. That's right.
Up there on the 8 Mile.
Because we're going to be watching.
Well, you have one classic appearance so far.
No, terrible finish.
Well, hey, you made it to
You
the
made it there.
You made it to the big. I don't know if George never talks about it, but George made the classic twice through the Federation, and one time bombed, extremely embarrassing,
What?
and then the second time,
That kind of hurts my feelings.
and the second time he did not extremely embarrassing, but only a little bit embarrassing. But you know what?
I owned it though, didn't
You
I?
guys, oh yeah, you guys go to that tournament, and you made it to that tournament, and there's only one way to fish that tournament, and that's to win. So
Right.
if wherever you end up after that, it doesn't matter. So you fish it to win, and you swing for the fences every single day, and you know, it's just the way that tournament is. So congratulations on that. Making your classic appearance there. You fished 10 tournaments with bass. You have a first place, of course, at Lay Lake. You have 2 top 10 finishes. You have 3 top 20 finishes, and you have 4 top 30 finishes. So that puts you in the lead for the Rookie of the Year, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
That's 100K.
how many points are you leading? And how do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm not leading, but by 1 point. That's why I kind of look at it. These guys, you know, even though they're rookies, you know, just making it there to the Elite Series, that every one of them can fish. So I think I'm leading by like, it's either 20, 30, 40. I ain't even looked that close. I just don't look at it, you know. But I got a little lead, but it's not a comfortable lead for sure. It's not like what Aaron Martin's doing where he lapped the field, you know.
Yeah.
But
so when you're going up to Lake St. Clair, what's your expectations?
Always to catch them. If I can stay within the 30 and below for the next 3 tournaments, I'd feel great about it. Or maybe have a top 10 and a 40 finish. And, you know, as long as I can get a check, that's been my goal the whole year, is just to get a check to provide for the family, you know.
Yeah.
But that next tournament is going to really, it's kind of like the Southern Swing. You want to get it kicked off right. Well, that's the same way my mind's going into this Northern Swing. I want my first tournament to go, you know, kick it right up the middle, you know. So, with that being said, if I can catch 19, 20, maybe have that 23, 24 pound day, but as long as I'm in that 20 pound range every day, I'd feel like I can get a check for sure.
Sure. That's a good way of looking at it too. But you're going after it. You're going after that Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely.
In full swing. I know when we talked on the phone, that's your goal. That's awesome. You know, so so far, man, I tell you, very impressive. Very, very impressive. You ought to be proud of yourself, how you're doing so far this year. And we wish you all the best in the Northern Swing, and by God, all of us guys and our listeners are rooting for you, and we will be watching.
Yeah, we're big.
watching.
We're big Will Davis Jr. fans because of the connection with the Federation. You know, winning that tournament at home, fishing with your dad. I mean, that just all speaks to us, and
that's what we're all about.
It speaks to a lot of our listeners. A lot of the people that come in the shop here are regular guys. You know, there's so many of those father-son tandems, and you know, I mean, cameraman Nick and his dad, me and Mike and our dad, and that speaks to us. So we're big Will Davis Jr. fans. We're going to be pulling for you hard. And also I wanted to say thanks for spilling the beans on some of that current situation. I know you probably would like to keep that close to the vest. Down there where you live, I mean, everybody's a dadgum full-time tournament pro. And you're competing against them, so hope you didn't hurt yourself too bad there.
Nah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all guys saying that. I appreciate y'all supporting me, and I appreciate y'all taking time to have me on here for sure. And Mr. George, and congratulations on making the Classic twice, man. It's a heck of an accomplishment. I mean, it's hard to do. That's what I tried my whole life. That's what I wanted to do, just make the Classic before I died. I didn't know I was going to get to fish the Elite Series. So,
I was just fishing, man. I was just fishing, and you know, it was back a long time ago. I think the first one I fished was in '95. I think it was 95. Mark Davis won it, High Rock. And back then, I mean, I was just fishing. I had this uncontrollable passion to tournament fish. And the only thing I didn't have was any money. So my boat was broken, my truck was broken, but I loved to fish, and I just fished every tournament I could get my teeth into. And next thing I know, I made the nationals, and the next thing I know, I made the classic. And so I just took that experience in. And then the next one I fished was 2004, and it was a very similar situation. It was just, still that crazy passion for tournaments. And, it wasn't like I woke up in the morning of the beginning of the season and said, all right, here's the game plan for making the classic. It was more like, I can't wait for this next tournament. And they just rolled one into the other. And, I was fortunate to be able to qualify for them. But, yeah, thanks for that. And, for all the Federation guys out there that are watching, I hope you get there. And for you guys who are down on the Potomac, you top 24 guys going out tomorrow, I don't want to put no sweats on you, but you're one tournament away.
Yeah.
It's the biggest. There's no all this hype that they have about the Classic. Well, it lives up to it, because I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
When you're back there and they open up them curtains, and when you go through there and you look up there and you see all your friends and family and thousands of other people, and your music's playing,
yeah,
that's a feeling that you'll never forget, and I never want to miss another one to the day I die.
Yeah.
Well, you're on a good pace. Keep it up, Will Davis Jr., and we'll be watching, brother. And in case you want to shout out to any of your sponsors, feel free to grab that mic and do that. Other than that, thank you so very much.
I appreciate y'all. If y'all want to go check out my dad's baits, you can go to davisbaitcompany.com. Tackle Warehouse has it. There's local stores around the house that has it, like Caravayas, Mark's Outdoors. We sell some shaky heads, the original shaky heads in Bass Pro, and MMA rods and Daiwa and Humminbird. The 360 up there really helped me a lot. The forward-facing sonar is really not as big of a key factor in current as it is the 360. The 360 really helped me see where I need to be positioned for sure.
Yeah.
And another big crucial thing was my Powerhouse lithiums. They have not let me down, and I run two 60 amp hours, which give me 120 amp of run, or 120 amp hours, so I can run them jokers all day. And
what are you charging them with?
I'm charging with a prototype deal that they have right now that charges all my batteries, but I have a run and gun system in that boat. Like when I was down there at Sabine, I was going all the way to Taylor's Bayou. So with that being said, I have a run and gun charger system in there, so it charges off my motor. So I never had to plug up my batteries the whole week while I was down there, practice or the tournament. That's a fact.
Wow. A lot of running.
It was. It's like
how long a run was that?
It's like 110 miles. It's like 45 to 50 when you down there.
Yeah.
May have been 40 miles down there. So while you're in there, you're running around doing this, doing that, for 5 hours, and then you're heading back. So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's the big thing. We don't really do a lot of lithium. I mean, a lot of our listeners do lithiums, but here at the shop, we don't really do a lot of lithiums. So we're not really totally boned up on the charging of them, but for a house battery, for electronics, I just don't think you can have a better setup.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm running 16 volt just for my graphs, and it makes it so much clearer. Much clearer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's interesting. A 16 volt.
Yeah, we gotta step it up, bro.
I was thinking about putting a generator in the back deck.
You know what it's like. Look, you know what it's like looking at our graphs.
What's that?
It's like here in the Northeast right now, we're dealing with all this smoke from Canada, and Right now, looking at our graphs is like looking through the smoke. It's all fuzzy. Everything's all fuzzy and you know, we gotta step it up. We gotta step our game
We'll
up.
work on that.
George, by him saying we, he means you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Will,
I know how that goes.
we have all the bells and whistles. We got the 360. We got the forward facing. We got, you know, we got this. We
We're
got
all
that.
dressed up. We just don't have no dance to
And
go
our
to.
our power situation is the most frustrating thing we're dealing with right now. And you know, that's, you know, we know exactly what we have to do. It's just trying to get it done and get it right. It's just amazing how much power this stuff takes to run.
It does, and it's getting worse every year.
Yeah, for a whole day. I mean, they suck so much life, and then put your live wells on top of that. You know, forget about it. Your jumper
That's
cable.
right. That's why that 16 volt's so crucial, because I'm only running my live well stuff off my cranker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're putting your harness on the 16 volt, and then everything else is coming off the crank battery.
That's right.
Mhm,
That's
I like
right.
it.
That's
mhm.
right.
I like it.
And, y'all fish a lot of rough waves, and is it rough?
We do.
Yeah, current. You know, the damn current.
We take a beating in the Northeast. Never buy a used boat from the Northeast. If the guy's a tournament fisherman, don't buy his boat
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
like,
you'll
like you can
find out.
probably you guys have rough water, but a lot of places you can run from one spot to the other without putting your rod straps on. Not here.
Yeah.
No,
better
I'm not. No, we got too many pleasure boaters out here for that.
Oh yeah. Well.
But what I was getting at is there's a new mount company, graph mount company called Straight Up Mounts, and you could hook boat US or tow US, whatever, and they could pull you from it. They're bad dudes. Bad dudes. They have all different.
I like that.
varieties.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we bolt everything down through bolted with giant fender washers and then lock nut washers and then double lock nut bolts.
Hey, you're gonna find out. You're gonna get up on this
Yeah.
water in the Northeast, buddy. And let me tell you, if it blows,
I know.
we're just say a prayer. We're just gonna say
I
a
know.
prayer for
You know what they call the St. Clair River from where you're launching to the lake?
I don't.
That's called the Miracle Mile. I'm for real. And you know why it's called the Miracle Mile?
No, sir.
Because it's a miracle if you can make that mile.
That's right.
Because the
That's right.
banks are all concrete and every boat wake just does like this.
Stays right in
And you're
there.
just driving along. You just think you're the greatest boat driver everywhere. And all of a sudden, there's no river left. There's just this big hole.
Not to scare you, Will.
No, well, I felt
So-
the same. I felt the same way down there at Port Arthur, going through the
Yeah.
through the canal down there, and man, I was humming it. I mean, I run a Nitro Z20 with lithium batteries, with a 250 4-stroke Mercury, and I can run about 73. I didn't have no Marshall with me, and I had her skint back. I'm talking about, and I'm going through
Let's
there.
go.
I'm just going through there, and I turn my head, and I feel it. You know that feel in your
Yeah.
butt.
The
Well,
build up.
Oh yeah. Well, this barge is like a good 2 miles in front of me, so I wasn't worried about it. But the way the current was coming, I wasn't calculating that too. So when I felt it, it was too late, and it was. I sent it. I sent it.
Airborne, baby.
Oh, it was like a rocket, buddy, for about 40 feet right here. Yep.
Well, the
one
best.
of them you grab the steering wheel and sit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
You know it. You know
Well,
it.
the best thing you can pack on your northern swing is a torque wrench. 'Cause you're going to be tightening the motor bolts up every night.
I got it. I got it.
All right. Well, Will Davis
Yep.
Jr., thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We're not going to take any more of your time. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, Will.
And,
Thanks
Thanks
you,
for
Will.
the tips.
Thanks
Yes,
so much
sir.
for coming on the show, pal.
Yeah, George, Mike, Nick, I appreciate y'all.
You bet, buddy.
We'll catch up with you at ICAST.
We'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Yep. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, y'all too.
Will Davis Jr., everybody.
Fantastic, huh?
Fantastic. Great to have him on. Little tidbits of fishing the current. I know he
That was my deal.
gave up a little bit more than
I was dying to hear his
Oh,
current
yeah.
tips.
no doubt about it.
Because if you don't fish that kind of current, it's probably hard to follow that conversation. But if you do, I'm sure you had that aha moment where, you know, he talked about boat position and casting at 1 o'clock versus the other scenario, casting at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we do because of the ledges is we don't cast upstream. You know, we have to cast 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock
Yeah.
because the ledges are just too brutal. They're
Yeah.
kind of, a lot of these rock ledges in the Susquehanna are tilted inward.
Yeah.
So what happens is no matter how hard you think you're controlling your slack, you get underneath it
Yeah.
and your line's like this.
Yeah.
Your jig's down here, your line's up here.
Snag.
So it's a situation where now if you have a specific target,
A shop likes it.
like Will was talking about a particular boulder, you know, if you have a specific boulder here on the river, yeah, we will do that. We will cast upstream on that situation. But if you're just fishing current breaks created by ledges, we can't.
Yeah.
But in his world, I can see where that would be, because when we fish some of the rivers that we fish with big tides, like the Nanticoke River with the 4-foot tide, the Hudson River, the Delaware River,
Yeah.
you know, that is a lot like a tail race scenario where, you know, we're fishing the end of a tree, we're fishing a piece of an old shipwreck or the corner of a bulkhead wall, and you have to make that cast up current to get that right presentation, or you're not going to catch that fish.
Right.
So, you know, when you're listening to this show and when you're thinking about this current, kind of look from above and picture, like, when we cast at 3, 4, and 5, our goal is for that bait to achieve the depth we want it at the same time it's making that swing at, 5 o'clock. And when it makes that swing, it's making that swing on that target. So the boat position and the casting distance is critical there.
Yeah.
If you're just covering bank, then you're either 3 or 4 and just, and you might even slowly backdrift using your trolling motor. It's an art. Fishing and current, be it tail race current or flow, is an art. It's an art form that takes years of practice to master. So, that 1 o'clock cast on that boulder, that does not come easy.
It doesn't. That's a tough one.
And
it comes easy to him.
Well, it's so interesting what you're saying, because if you look at the last 2 shows we had today, and then I think it was our last show, I think we talked to the winners of the SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And you look at the 2 anglers, Centaur, with McKee and all them.
Yeah.
They know how to fish that stuff.
Yeah.
And they just think about, like, I'm thinking about those fish that he's talking about. They're not where the anglers thought they were.
Right.
He knew where they were.
They knew where they were.
And,
right.
And that takes a long time to learn.
Absolutely.
Well,
What we didn't ask him, George, if he fishes to push. If he even knows about that.
No, when he wins his next tournament,
Yeah.
and we bring him on,
What to ask
we'll
him.
ask him about that.
I got a question for George. What music did George walk into from the Bassmaster Classic?
I can't even remember.
No?
Um,
Because when he said that, I had to ask.
Yeah. I didn't forget what it was. Did they even do music back
yeah,
then?
yeah.
Was there music invented back then?
Lenny Kravitz?
Lenny Kravitz?
Mm-hmm. I went full on Lenny Kravitz.
Nice.
What?
Guitar solo.
Not for both of them.
No, the 2004.
Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah.
Would you ever guess that, Mike?
Nope.
You should have guessed it, because you're the one that gave me the CD for the ride down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Lenny Kravitz guy, but
They said, "What do you want to listen to when you walk into the Classic?" I'm like, "Man, crank up some Lenny Kravitz. I want it loud."
What was the first one?
They didn't have it.
They didn't have it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think they had it. They didn't
That was
have it on one of them.
1995, Mike.
I know. There was no music back then. Zero.
I don't know what I would have went to there. Probably Metallica.
Metallica wasn't even probably a new band back then.
Oh yeah, they were in their early stages.
That was when they were a Thrasher. Oh shoot.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, Kid Rock, Sam. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a good one for
When you're rolling into Detroit
yeah. Yeah.
and you got Alabama plates on,
Yeah.
you crank that up loud.
Yeah. Driving on the 8 Mile.
Bomb diggity.
So there you have it. That was a great segment there with Will Davis Jr. So glad to have him on here. Great guy.
I don't think you can emphasize the whole current thing enough.
You know, current is just like he said. Usually when you're dealing with current, you're dealing with and tail races in particular. Not only you're dealing with current, but you're dealing with fluctuation of levels. So you're dealing with fish that move a lot. They move up, they move down, they move over here when this current's running this much. When it's running this much, they run over here. When they're, what you know, so not only do you have to know how to fish current, but you got to know levels for those tail races.
You need to know release schedules, which by the way are tentative. And you need to write the stuff down because, for example, when they tell you how many CFS it's going to be flowing, you need to have a benchmark. Well, if it's 12,000, I do this. If it's 6,000, I do this.
Yeah.
So if you don't get that information on every single trip and then
apply it to the day, see what happens.
Say to yourself, well, today was 12,000 and this is what 12,000's like.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we do in all of our tail race fishing. So we know what the CFS is. It's the same thing as the upper flow in Susquehanna River. You know, when we have, you know, rises and falls in the water, we know what the flow is. We know, you know, if it's 12,000, 15,000, 30,000, what have you. You know, 90,000, 100, 200,000.
We wouldn't be fishing behind the dams at 200,000.
Boat ramps are not crowded at 200,000. You know why?
There's no boat ramps.
They're underwater.
They're underwater.
The parking lots.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
neat.
You have to know that.
Yeah, you do have to know that, and you got to understand that and know what those levels, what that flow does to the level of the water, so that you can and then what you're going to fish when you get there, because you know they can run 2 units and it's this, and you have to fish like this, and if they run 3 units, you got to fish like this, and then you know,
if you really want to make it interesting, you take the Conowinga Dam and the fact that the river's tidal up to roughly Port Deposit.
Yeah.
Actually, it's tidal a little bit above that.
Yeah.
And then you get the release from the Conowinga Dam, which has more and bigger turbines.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're getting different numbers there. You know, I remember winning a federation tournament there years ago, and the reason why I even went there on day 2 is not only were they running excessive amounts of turbines, but they had 4 floodgates open.
Mm-hmm.
So the current was like
ripping,
kicking ass, and it positioned those fish put them
right
the
specific
where they should be. Area where
they were all smallies.
When you make a cast, you're making a cast to a fish.
Yeah.
So, you know, get to know, you know, when you're fishing a tail race, there's a couple things. Get your release schedule. And then when you're out there, check it and make sure that it's flowing at what they said it was going to, so that you know what that number means.
It's funny you brought up getting boats stuck.
Oh, when they drop water?
Come
on, man.
My brother-in-law Jimmy and I were fishing a tournament, and we went up there just place George's talking about Conowingo. We you know, I was hell bent on getting up there and catching these smallmouth, and I get all the way up there and I'm fishing, we're catching some smallmouth, and I heard the sirens, Nick, and you got to run the bubble out, you know, so when they shut the water off, you know, that bubble just goes out of there, and you better be right on that bubble getting the hell out of there. Well, we stayed a little too long, and the next thing you know, we're pushing and lifting the boat over ledges and pushing, and it was, luckily I had my jet boat, so it wasn't like horrible, but it was pretty damn bad. And when I'm telling my brother-in-law, okay, now we have to get out here and push over top of this ledge. He's like, what in the hell did you get me into? So
Good times.
Jesse McNutt, how you doing, buddy? Good to see everybody stopping in here tonight. Here on Tackle Shop Live. Dave Richardson's in the house. Mike Piccolo, how you doing, Mike? We got your package out today. Yep, absolutely, buddy. We hopefully that stuff will get in your hands for your tournament. South Jersey Fisherman, what do you say? JP Harrell, how you doing? Michael Bradley's in the house. We got a great pile of people stopping in tonight.
So, Mike, speaking of tournaments, somebody has a tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. This weekend is the Ike tournament down on the bay. As you well know, we talked about it last time on Tackle Shop Live. That tournament is a fundraiser for the Ike Foundation, and how they, what they do is fantastic, and what they do is absolute. For the kids is just great. So that's really the reason why I got involved. George and I both got involved the first year was more for supporting the kids and the foundation, because it's just a great thing. And then the next year, Greg De Palma and I fished together. And then we started getting more competitive. We started saying, we want to win that boat. Not only do we want to support this, but we also, the competition side of you kicks in, and you're out there to win that boat. So I'm looking forward to the tournament again this year. Fishing with Greg De Palma. George and I were down Sunday practicing, spent the day on the bay, caught a couple real nice fish. Got one little area kind of scratched out. Maybe if we're lucky, we can pound a 22-pound bag or 20-pound bag out of there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all works out.
Some big talk.
Hey, if you're not thinking you're going to win, you're not going to win. You go there to win, right, Nick?
Hey, why show up if you don't think you can win?
That's right. I'm going there to win. I don't know about. That's the way I roll.
I'm not going at all, so
I know.
Doesn't matter to me.
I tried to get you to go, but you chickened out last minute.
I got boat issues.
That's true. That's true. And
anyways,
no time to do it. So
my real problem is my time issues.
I know. Okay.
But that's okay.
So we're going to move on with the show, and we're going to do a little segment we like to call Tackle Talk. Charles Daldry is in the house. What is up, Charles? How are you, buddy? Good seeing you the other day.
Yeah. Charles stopped in with the president of Daiwa for a nice visit.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to see everybody there from Daiwa. And Charles
had his best shirt on too.
And he was a totally different man.
Well, the pollen was almost he almost died.
Well, other than that, but he was just a totally different man. He was on his best behavior, which I understand, and we appreciate that, Charles.
I like him better when he's on his worst behavior.
I do too.
Just kidding, Charles. We love you.
We love you, buddy.
But yeah. So Charles, you'll like this next segment. It's all about the new Shimano Calcutta Conquest MD.
Oh man, did you just go there, bro? Oh Lord, man. Well,
that's true.
We're a tackle shop, so we sell a little bit of everything.
We do. Anyways, this reel is one of the peak pinnacle big bait reels on the market today. For you guys that are big swim bait guys, big musky guys, saltwater, and you like precision and you like
quality.
tech.
Yep.
this could be for you. This is a Calcutta Conquest MD. Round reel. And the biggest knock on round reels is the profile. So what's interesting about this reel is this is called the B side. This is smaller than this side. Okay. So this is a smaller diameter. It's easier to palm. The reel foot is recessed. So when it sits down on the rod, it's a very comfortable round reel. But you get that solid, one-piece machined aluminum feel. The aluminum frame, the aluminum side plates, everything's rigid, big, giant handle. This is the 300 size. Also comes in a 400 size. Your 300 size is 150 yards of 17, which is pretty ample capacity. Your 400 size is 160 yards of 20. So, if you're slinging the real big baits on 25, that you might want to look at that 400 size. And right hand, left hand, 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. Each turn of this big old handle, 40 inches of line. Every turn, 40 inches of line. But, you'd think something this big is heavy. It's 12.7 ounces. And you're putting it on a big, 7, 11 to 9-foot rod. Perfect size. Cross carbon drag. So you're getting no, stick, chatter. It's the drag of choice for most companies on the market today, cross carbon. 11 anti-rust shielded bearings. That's pretty impressive. The drive gear is micro module. So your pinion gear and your drive gear is getting a ton of contact. Okay. And your pinion gear is supported by a bearing on this side and actually the spool shaft on this side. And of course the spool shaft is supported by a bearing right here. So you've got a real powerful, no binding, no torque retrieve system. Beautiful. The bad news, $599.99. Not gonna lie, it's not for everybody. The interesting thing about this reel is it's a centrifugal system. So we have 8 brake blocks that we can turn on or off. They, of course, are making contact with, I don't know if you can see where the end of those brake blocks contact. So when they're on, they're rubbing on that ring. So during the cast, you're getting braking that you can adjust from, 0 to 8. I don't recommend 0. But the interesting thing about this reel, this is part of Shimano's Monster Drive series, which hitherto was Japan only.
Mhm.
This little dude right here is a magnetic cast control. That little dial. So if you're right where you want to be and you get a little bit of fluff, just touch that. If you're not, back it off a hair. So you got traditional cast control on the spool axle. You've got centrifugal, and you've got a little magnetic fine-tune assist. It's a bad boy.
That handle's bad to the bone.
Well, here's another thing that's bad to the bone. The level wind is synced to the spool. So drag out, you're not getting any harsh angles. On the cast, it follows after. You're not getting any harsh angles. Okay?
Big fish.
That's a big deal.
Big fish.
That's a big deal.
That's what big fish.
You know, when you're slinging
do.
when you're slinging a big glide bait, you know, you're putting a lot of torque and speed on that. It's nice having that level wind follow. That's a big deal.
George, does the bigger size have the same exact handle?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they're big handles. I don't know what they are, 130s.
Right and left hand retrieve, which is really cool.
Yeah. Right and left hand retrieve. The 300 size is 12.7 ounces, as I said. The 400 size is 12.9 ounces. So they're the same weight.
Yeah.
Okay. I know there's somebody's down in the basement right now yelling for a Hot Pocket, raising hell that we're off by 2/10, but sue me. 18 pounds of drag. As I said, cross carbon. And there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Calcutta Conquest MD. Not a reel for everybody, for every situation, but saltwater, musky, big swim bait guys. If you're putting together that dream combo, or you just want something that you're just tired of stuff wearing out, you musky guys that are slinging tennis shoes, you're not going to wear these gears out. They're not going to bind. They're not going to get geary.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's the first item we have on.
What else you got there?
Well, I have a from the Houstonic River Brewery, courtesy of Chris Beeler, good friend of ours.
Yeah.
I have an Amarillo Sky double IPA.
Mm.
Want to give a shout out to Chris on that for actually shipping this in.
Yeah.
You know, and the last time he was here, he brought a couple. So here's to you, Chris. Thanks for supporting the beer sponsorship. You probably didn't even know you were doing that.
Right.
But now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So be careful what you say or do, because I can use it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to shout out, and Mike, I think you'll back me up with this. And I don't know, Nick, I don't know your stance on it. I want to shout out FC Sniper Line.
Mm.
I want to shout out 14, 16, and 18. I mean, we have put some work in.
Tearing up.
In some hardcore environments with large quantities of fish.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this stuff is unbelievable.
Holds up.
I mean, I've gone on record. I'm not like the PGA commissioner. You know, I'm not a hypocrite just because he signed on with the Saudis. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying I have gone on record with my good friends at High Seas. I love their line. And I've said that. Said it 1,000 times, and I still love it. But I'm going to tell you right now, FC Sniper 14, 16, and 18 is a bad boy.
It is.
It's a bad, bad boy.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the kind of dog you want in your corner. I also want to point out that you can get that in a 200, a 600, or a 1200. Pretty impressive. 200 spools are going to run you that 25 range. 600s are going to bump you up to that 70 to 71 range.
Yep.
1200s are 138 to 140. Now, listen, before you fall over, if you think about it, for most of what we do in bass fishing, if you leave some backing on your reel, and by backing, I mean leave some line on your reel, either mono or fluoro, leave it on the spool so it's partially full. So how much do I leave on? I have a scientific method for that. Strip the line off the reel until you think there ain't no way in hell I'm ever going to have that much line off my reel, and tie a knot and wind the new line on. Now, you know, a 600-yard spool. I mean, you're going to get, on the average bass fishing scenario, you are going to get like 12 fills.
What, 600?
Yep. I'm going to say 11 because, you know, we all screw up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So 11. Worst case scenario, you know, you're having a few pops night before the tournament, spooling up your reels, 10.
A 600 will last most guys a whole year. Easy.
Well, 10 fills.
It's a whole year
Worst case scenario.
for most guys. I mean, how often most guys change their line? I mean, you know, the thing we always say in here is the cheapest link between you and the fish after spending all the money on the rod and the reel and the lures and all that kind of stuff is the line. And that's the most overlooked between most people that fish, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
What about the hook?
yeah, all that stuff.
That's kind of an important link.
Yeah, I know, but they spend all the money on the best hooks, the best lures, the best rods, the best reels. And then
I'm just kind of messing with you.
well, I'm just
'cause
saying,
it's- you teed it up.
I'll tee something else up here in a second. I'm gonna square up.
Atta boy.
I'm gonna tee something up big time right
Now,
here in a minute.
I'm all down with that. And, you know, we get asked questions on fluorocarbon, and I'm just sitting back here making some notes. Let's get real here for a minute. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm making some notes. Like, what should we talk about tonight that's going to be fun and interesting and compelling and keep people on the line long enough for me to sell them something? No, I'm just kidding about that part. And, you know, we always talk about fluorocarbon. Always, constantly. People are, what brand, what brand, what brand? You saw Will, he's fishing Red Label Yozuri. Listen, Yozuri's top of the line. High Seas, top of the line. There's a lot of top of the line companies. I'm just shouting out this sniper because in the last
well, that's what we've been fishing.
month,
We
have had some days with this sniper.
we got the 500,000 yard spool back here that we were winding for free for everybody during our sales. That's we started putting on our, and I'm telling you, we're impressed.
Stuff's impressive.
Impressed. Very good.
So that's your FC sniper story.
What else you got?
I have a hook. And what's interesting about this hook is it's in stock.
Oh, from who?
Owner.
Ah, I see why you said that.
This is the Owner Jungle Flipping Hook.
That's a beauty.
This is no ordinary hook.
It's a
Okay,
wide,
this is a straight shank, very impressive flipping hook that has come back into stock finally. What's interesting about this hook is a couple of things. So one is the keeper. So if you look at the keeper on this hook, I don't know how we're going to highlight this.
just hold it up. It was showing up good. Yeah, right there.
So that keeper is fluorocarbon line that is hand tied to the shank of the hook in the form of a loop. So when you rig your worm up, it's going to go over top of that, and that's going to act as the spike that holds the worm in place. And what's cool about that is that's the most forgiving holder out of all the holders.
So it doesn't rip your worm as much. Is that what
Does
you're
not
saying?
rip your bait as much. You get a lot more life out of your bait, but yet you get good holdage.
Yeah. Holdage.
Holdage.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the holdage factor there?
Right. The other thing about this hook that's very impressive is it's super slippery.
Is that
So
like
it's
a nano
It's
coat?
a Cody.
Coated?
Yep. It's like, I don't even know what they call it.
Is that like a round bend shank on that or something? Or
That is a
big-
that is a round bend. Well, it's kind of like a hybrid. It kind of looks like a round bend and a sprout got together.
got some nice gap on there. What size is that one?
Yeah,
there?
but it's not like a gaff.
Yeah, what size is that?
It's a 3/0.
Yeah.
That's a 3/0.
Shank's a little long for a 3/0, I think.
I don't know. To me, that's the perfect 3/0. I like it. I
Does.
like this hook a lot.
Beautiful hook.
I mean, you can catch like 1 million fish on each hook.
And George said it. The thing's been out of stock forever.
Great hook.
And everybody's been wondering about it and asking about it.
I don't
so-
know what's going on.
So that was a good way of that's a good thing to do to let everybody know we got it in stock.
Now, another hook that I have is the replacement hook for a jerkbait.
Mm.
You tear up your jerkbait hook. You go back to the hook wall. You get confused. So this is
10,000
a
treble hooks back
this
there.
is this. And there's a lot of good ones. Everybody has a good one.
Yeah.
But this is one we've been playing with a little bit. It's a BKK Spear. Okay. And here it is. Number 5, which is your most common jerkbait size.
The number 5,
Number 5.
the most common replacement size.
Most common jerkbait hook size. Most jerkbaits
Come with a 6 or a 4.
come with a 5.
Who puts 5s on them?
Lucky Craft.
They don't have 5s on them. They have
Rapala.
4s and 6s.
Okay. Well, for this show, they're 5s.
I like 5s.
And then when you get
We've
all your
always upgraded to
when
5s.
you get all your proof and your lawyers and everybody lined up, you come in and show me that there's
I
something
will.
else.
I will.
Okay. So
They just started making 5s.
most jerk baits that you buy, like if you buy a Rapala jerk bait, regular size, or if you buy a Lucky Craft Pointer 100, they have a number 5 on them. Okay, contrary to what Mike might say. And 5s are a hot item to get, and you don't want too heavy of a wire, but you want that coating, you want that good carbon, nice hook. Now everybody's got them. I mean, Gamakatsu has them. My God, Hayabusa has beautiful coated ones, NRB coating. The new Finesse treble from Redline, their number 5 is absolutely gorgeous. I'm just saying, this is one of those good ones,
Yeah.
And George,
I've been using it.
that is a good hook to call out, because when you take any bait that has those hooks on them, you know it. They're
Yeah.
sticky.
The BKKs? Oh, you kidding me? That's a great hook.
And I had a pack of these, and I had some jerk baits that were all dinged up from awesome fishing situations. And I thought, you know what? Normally I'm digging in my box and I'm getting out the Hayabusa. I'm getting out the Gamakatsu. I love that Aaron Martin's standard wire, number 5. I'm going to try this BKK, and that thing is a bad boy.
I do got to ask you guys a question though, and only because you brought up the trebles, George. When do you go with a traditional treble like that, and when do you go with a triple grip?
Well, that's the age old. I mean, if we went around the room here between the 3 of us, we're probably going to get 3 different answers. I mean, I like a standard round bend treble hook is my hook of choice myself. I got no problems with triple grips. Matter of fact, if you were digging through my boxes right now, you're probably going to say, well, what are you saying you like round bends for when so many of your baits have triple? If you don't fish a hook or anything for that matter, how do you form the opinion?
Well, we went through a phase where we triple grip nut cases. We loved the triple grip nut stuff. I think I don't know what crankbait was, came through with the triple.
And we don't like them. We don't dislike them.
We loved them.
What's your favorite?
Well, I mean, we went to the round bend Gamakatsu. Round bend hook is the one I
mean, I like the round bend.
I like the round bend too, but
I don't dislike the triple grip.
No.
What about you, Nick?
Well, I agree with you both. Like, I went through that phase that everything had to be changed to a triple grip,
yeah,
but
we did.
I got to say, like, I don't fish as much as somebody like De Palma or Will Davis fishes. So maybe they have some
They do. I'm sure they
reason why you have to fish this hook when. And I don't know. And I want to see what you guys thought.
And you're a triple grip guy.
I traditionally, yes.
There's a guy that's pretty well known in the bass fishing world who has his name on a hook. I think he's a triple grip.
And he's kind of winning a tournament right now.
KVD, yeah.
I think when he came on the market and that triple grip hook came out, I want to say it was Bandit that brought out all their baits with triple grips on them.
And then Bill Lewis.
And then Bill Lewis did. And then we, so then KVD was hot and we were like,
had to try them.
KVD junkies. So we tried them and we fished them for a long time. And
I don't dislike them.
And we still have a lot of crankbaits, like George said, that are still have them on there that, maybe we didn't use that much and the hooks didn't get bent up or whatever.
I don't know about you guys, but when I buy a hook and it's good, and then I change my allegiance to another hook, I still use the ones that I have.
Yeah, well, not that.
Like when I dig through my stuff and I'm rigging up crankbaits, or I'm out in the water and I bust a hook or whatever the situation is, and I dig down in there and I'm looking in my mind, I'm looking for when I started using this. In my mind, I was going down into the box in the boat. Mike has a nice little hook box in his jet boat, and I was in his jet boat. And I'm like, oh, snap, I need a hook. I know exactly where they're at. And as I'm digging for this box, there lays this box of hooks. And my good buddy Corbin was talking it up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to find out. I like it.
Nice hook.
Now, I'm not saying I like it better than the other one. Not saying I like it less than the other one. I'm just telling you, this is a good.
They're sticky.
And
nice
you know what
and
else this would be
sticky
good
and
on,
strong.
Mike? And I didn't try it yet.
What's that?
Popar.
Sure.
Putting this on my Splash It.
Sure. Is that a short shank?
It is.
Yeah. Short shank. You can go up a little bit on that. And I always like the round bend short shank number 4s. I always like
And-
to upsize my stuff
And
there.
who doesn't like some good hook talk?
Nothing like a good hook.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing like some good hook talk.
So, I'm making my notes and I'm like, what can we talk about that's fun and keep people engaged? Frickin' spinner baits, yo. If you don't like to throw a spinner bait, you're on the wrong show. We love throwing spinner baits.
Love me some spinner baits.
And I've been throwing this one. I told you about it once before,
Yeah, that thing.
and I'm going to tell you about it again. Because it's hot. It's called a Shimano Swagey Strong. And I like it because,
I figured out what the Swagey Strong's all about.
yeah,
Yeah. The pull through the water. The vibration is incredible.
you want to know what it's really all about?
I'm just telling you what I think it's about.
So, Nick's a big metal guy. Swaging reduces diameter. So it's thicker here than it is here. So this wire is tapered, AKA Stanley Wedge.
Yeah.
Okay. But one of the things I hate on a spinnerbait is when the swivel pops out of the eye of the hook, of the eye of the wire that you bent with your own pliers. You have nobody to blame but yourself. That one's soldered. That split ring is not tearing out of that hook. Because when that happens, you lose your blade, which this is a heavy gold-plated blade.
Thing's badass.
Now,
man.
if you don't think a gold-plated blade is the deal,
Hog collar.
it's the deal.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody come out in the market the other day with this beautiful spinnerbait, and they showed it to me, and it had brass blades on it. And
It's like the massive.
actually-
it's like a massive turnoff.
I actually threw up in my mouth right in the middle of the meeting. It was horrible. I cannot buy that spinnerbait. So we have a gold-plated, heavy-duty blank. Same thing with the nickel. We have tremendous vibration. This blade's cupped. We have a killer keeper for those of you who like to fish a trailer. And the skirt's tied with wire. So it ain't going nowhere until you catch like 100 fish on it. We got a high quality, one of them smooth coated hooks. This thing's bad to the bone. The weight's written on the head. Because when you got like spinnerbaits just laying everywhere, you forget, right? Swaggy Strong.
All right.
Name's kind of weak.
Yeah.
$13.99. Not an inexpensive spinnerbait. It is a little pricey. Oh, what else do I got here? That's it. That's all I got for tackle talk.
All right.
I got a little tournament talk for, later on. But that's all I got for tackle talk.
Well, I love tackle talk. I think it's cool stuff. I like talking about the hooks. I'm going to do some fact checking on George's number 5s because for the last 15 years, all we've been talking about is this bait has 6s. This one
Well,
has
if you got a
4s.
hot minute, you can walk over there and grab one.
What are you going to say what's on it? Doesn't say what's on it.
You can pair it up here.
What do you want me to grab?
Lucky Craft Pointer 100.
I don't know why you're doing this to yourself.
Well, I don't think they're number 5s. I think they're 4s.
Man, you are like dug in like an Alabama tick on this, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that for most of the stuff that's out there, it's 6s and 4s.
You're wrong.
It's been like that forever.
Don't keep saying that.
You never even started carrying 5s until like 3 years ago,
Okay.
4 years ago.
I don't know what you want me to say. That's a freaking 5 all day long, bro.
Not even close. It's a 4.
All day long.
That's a 4.
All right, so the show's going to pause here for a while we measure these hooks. So if anybody kicks off, we understand.
It's pretty close, but I think it's a 4.
We're going to go with a 4, and I guess basically in Mike's world, disregard all the talk about the 5s. But in my world, if you
No,
wanna
I'm
match
telling
them
you,
up, they're 5s.
I understand changing to 5s, but you know, I know a lot of 6s we changed to 5s.
Okay, I think this went off the tracks here.
Well, you think you know what you're talking about, and you don't always do.
Okay, I got the answer. They are number 5s.
They might have changed it here recently.
I'm sure they did last week.
They might have changed it recently.
They came in here and repackaged everything. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, something new.
We got bogged down in a horrible way and destroyed the entire momentum of the show.
No, we
And
didn't.
Some of our
We didn't.
diehard listeners are hanging in
No, we didn't bog down at all. We just
like a mud bog.
bogged down at all.
You know, big mud tire trucks with the big giant tires.
You mean to tell me the Lucky Craft from back when we sold it 20 some years ago was a number 5?
Always.
There ain't no way in hell. How come we always put number 4s on it then?
Because we didn't have any 5s.
Well.
And a 4 is better than a nothing. What'd you catch them on?
I know we always had 6s and 4s in our boat. We never had 5s.
All right.
All right, Nick. Why you have to be a dick? Huh?
Hey, I just checked with the fact checker, so they could be wrong too.
Yeah, who's that?
People that make them.
Who'd you check?
Undisclosed.
Yeah.
Can't release the
Yeah,
information.
yeah, right. I like to know who you texted on that one. Those guys are full of shit.
It was off Google.
Oh, Google. Yeah,
What do they know?
Google's always right.
Hey, what do they know?
Yeah, all right. There you go.
George, he's going down swinging on this one.
Like, and that's different. How?
Shut up, stupid. All right.
Hey, what about the Rapala Shadow Wrap Shad? What size hooks does that have on it?
I don't even know
We
what
can
that
get
is.
Nick to check that for us.
I don't even know what that is.
It's probably
Never threw one in
5s.
my life.
Well, you're missing out on that one. How about a X-Wrap 10?
X-Wrap 10. I don't even know if I threw one of them ever.
Hot steel.
Oh, in a hot steel pattern, sure.
It's a 5.
Your favorite color?
Probably has like a number 6.7 on there.
You know what else is interesting about this, though, since we're really on this 5 thing? The only reason that the 5 became as prominent as it is because of jerkbaits. Like, topwaters don't use 5s. Crankbaits don't use 5s. Jerkbaits predominantly use 5s.
What's on the Megabass?
It depends on the bait. Some of those are really light wire 4s. Some of them are 5s. Some of them are 6s, but most of those are 6s. They're a little different.
But George, great point though, because before I really started getting 5s, I always did 4s and 6s.
Of
and
course.
just did whatever, you
Yeah.
know. and it worked. And
Well-
it's just like the line you brought up. Guys always debate between 17 and 20. And one of the things I really like about that shooter is it comes in 18.
Right.
It's a great size right there.
Right.
Yep.
FC sniper and shooter 18
All right.
is stronger than most 20s. But what's interesting about 5s is the reason most people fish 4s and 6s is no one is there to tell you about a 5. And very few places that you go will have a 5. It's like the 3. The absolute worst selling treble hook size in the world is the number 3. There's nothing worse selling in a tackle shop than a number 3 treble hook. But guess what? Every manufacturer that makes one, we stock it because there's a few baits that require a 3. And, we don't stock a ton of them, but when you drive all the ways over here to get a replacement 3, and you know what? The availability on these hooks sucks. So you got to stock like 5 brands so you have at least one in stock.
That's a fact.
Did you ever see the guy that like sharpens the katana sword on Kill Bill?
Yeah.
That's the same guy that makes the treble hook. And the next day,
one stroke a day.
it's like 4 weeks to have a hook, but it's some bitch is sharp. All right. I got to talk about some tournaments. Can I get some intro music here before we got to get off this show?
Yeah, because you got 10 minutes.
I only want 9.
This is what we call tournament talk. What's up, Charlie Esterly? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in.
You just took 30 seconds of my time, so I'm only going to use 8 because I want to get out of here too. Hang in there with me, people, because I got some Derby news.
We going to talk about the Major League Fishing thing today?
Possibly.
That was fun.
It was really fun. What I want to talk about is Brock Mosley winning the Elite Series. And I want to talk about the fact that every morning he whacked a limit. These guys are like struggling down there.
What was the controversy on that?
There's always controversy.
Already been caught ABC fish he was catching or something? I don't know.
You know what? Everybody had a chance to go there. And
Yeah.
you know what? Prove it. And you know what? Just because you didn't do well, quit bitching. And you know what?
I didn't understand.
Nobody else wants to hear it.
You like Brock Mosley?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
You know what?
Fill us in here. What are you talking about?
Just people bitching because they
you
didn't
know,
think about it.
Those guys were complaining because they said that they were catching the fish that the guys were releasing right there at the site, and the tournament director corrected them very quickly and said, "That's a negative, fellas. We're taking them miles out in the release boat, miles, and releasing them miles away." Now, was there a lot of ABC fish there from other tournaments? Of course,
Like 3 tournaments a week.
of course. But what's the difference?
You know what?
It's like that anywhere.
When you're going to say that stuff, back it up.
Back what up?
Back up what you're saying.
Just saying that.
I'm talking about the angler that's bitching.
Yeah, right.
I want you to back it up.
Right.
Okay. And when the tournament director,
The tournament director straightened it out right away.
Lisa Talmadge, says no,
Right.
then I want to know what you have to say about that.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, guys, let's be honest. One of our local places we fish has the same thing going on.
Yeah. Every
You
lake
fish-
in the world does.
You fish what's fishable
Yeah.
within the tournament rules.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
That's why they call it
In
legal waters.
In 1991, Ken Cook won the Bassmasters Classic on the Chesapeake Bay on the grass bed that runs from the boat ramp at Elk Neck State Park down about 250 yards. And he went back and forth for 4 days on that. Guess what happens at back then? Guess what happened at Elk Neck State Park every weekend?
Yeah.
Tournaments.
Yeah.
And there was no such thing as a release boat.
Yeah.
So, what is Ken Cook not a classic champion?
No, I'm just saying I didn't understand what these guys were bitching about, because if it was, in my mind, if it's deemed tournament waters, legal tournament waters, you fish it.
See, I asked what you guys were talking about because I didn't get to watch the whole tournament, but one part that I did see was Brock Mosley was thanking Matty Wong the third day because he left him fish that stuff first.
Yeah. Well, they were fishing together on the same stretch of water, and the right thing to do when somebody's in the lead is heed to that person.
I got news for you. That whole situation was handled
perfectly
from the get-go. You know what happened the night before? Brock Mosley called Matty Wong and said, "Hey, I see you're in this area. So am I.
Yeah.
Hey,
let's work it out.
Can I have from here to here for an hour? And then you can come in and we can," and he said to him, "You can come in and we can bump rub rails for the rest of the day." Matty Wong's like, "Yeah, you were there first. It just so happened that you and I found the same fish. You got there in the morning. I got there in the afternoon on day one. That's fair game." Most people would have drove there the next morning and had all kinds of frickin', chipped teeth over it. Right? These guys got together. Brock Mosley called them. I'm telling you, this Brock Mosley, class act.
Matty Wong's class act.
Class act. And that's why this tournament is so great.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's great is Brock Mosley was catching them on a pop R. Now, I'm not a big Pradco fan. One of their sons, Orpit's Pure Fishings. Right? But a pop R. We got Splash Its, Ricos, One Bugs. We got, all kinds of mega bass top waters that look like artwork. A pop R. Foxy Mama Pop R. Change the hooks. You know what? Back in the day, did you ever hear of Zell Rowland? Just saying. The other thing that was really cool about this, and the thing I hope you guys are hanging on for, tidal water, and Brock Mosley said this, and I was like, yes. Tidal water, a lot of your bottom is silty. And when you flip a jig and you don't get bit on the drop, it goes down into the silt, the bottom. So he was power shotting.
Wallen Paul Plack Brewing Company, largemouth Indian Pale Ale.
From Hawley, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So he was power shotting. So power shotting or Bubba shotting is nothing more than a drop shot on heavy gear. And I love it because he was fishing a 1/4 ounce weight, which is kind of necessary when you're fishing 17-pound fluorocarbon on a big rod. He was fishing a 2/0 Trocar EWG. Top of my head, I want to say it's like a TK 120. And he was fishing a 4-inch Junebug or black blue laminate Senko because of the presence of blue crab, and the 4-inch because of the fishing pressure. But the beauty of this setup, and what I want everybody to kind of hone in on, is the Bubba shot, is when that weight's on the bottom, he was running a 9 to 12-inch leader. That bait's not down in that gunk. When you flip a jig and it hits the bottom, it disappears in a mud puff.
Yeah.
And that's inefficient. That's not means you're not going to catch him on the jig because Clark Wendelin caught him on the jig, finished second. On the Strike King, Tour Grade, Tungsten, Compact, Jig. So you're going to have that reaction strike on the drop, but once you're on the bottom, your percentage is going to go down. Where this Bubba shot, this power shot, brilliant. Rock Mosley, brilliant. And I have a note here. Talk about the muck on the bottom because that is the key to this technique. And that is the only reason we're talking about the Elite Sabine. That and the fact that Brock Mosley won it after having 5 second-place finishes.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. Good for him.
Outstanding.
Beautiful.
And the last thing, guys, if I could have a minute of your time, I want to shout out to Brian LeClaire from Denton, Maryland, who is a journeyman angler, journeyman Federation angler.
Long time.
And I want to shout out to him because he's already made 3 Federation championships. He's already fished a classic from the Federation Nation. You heard what Will Davis had to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he's down on the Potomac fishing the Northeast region, which determines the 20. I think there's 26 guys fishing tomorrow. They're going to determine like 5 anglers to go to the Nation on the boater and 5 on the rider. 5 or 6. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress. Brian is in first place after the second day of the tournament. And guess what? He's on the Potomac. And a lot of you listening are Potomac guys. You know we're Potomac guys. I have never in my life cast and retrieved a glide bait on the Potomac River. Ever, because my small mind has not expanded enough to allow that thought to enter. Brian LeClaire is catching his fish on boat docks and hard cover and grass beds on a glide bait. Not this color, but it might look exactly like this one. And Brian LeClaire,
Chad.
my hat is off to you, sir, because you're a great fisherman. You've had great accomplishments, and
it's impressive.
you got this, bro. I mean, you were
very
like
impressive.
You were like straight up 14 ounces in the lead. Probably going to win this whole derby. 4th nation championship.
Yeah.
Possibly your 2nd classic. And you're doing stuff that others are not doing.
That's cool.
And you're on the Potomac, which you know really well. Even though you haven't really won anything major there, you've been sniffing. So I just wanted to shout out, boys, if you don't mind.
Beautiful.
I just wanted to shout out. And also, I want to shout out the team championship portion of this event. And for those of you out there who have a curiosity or an itch you want to scratch about the Federation, you might want to get involved with this if you're thinking that way, because it is awesome.
Yeah.
This is the Bass Federation Nation.
How'd Team Canada do? You never did say.
I didn't.
Honorable mention.
We're only covering the top 3 today.
Everybody gets a ribbon. They're our boys, though, man.
We love the Team Canada
We love
guys.
Team Canada.
We love them. But we're going to talk about New Jersey Federation Nation champions.
Yeah, they did good.
Longtime sponsors of New Jersey
Mm-hmm.
Federation Nation. I don't know what happened, but they changed directions.
Mm-hmm.
It's all cool.
Yeah.
Longtime sponsors. We love those guys.
Yeah, love them. Love those guys.
PA Federation Nation,
Second.
2nd.
Mm.
I mean, we know everybody on the team. We love all those guys from the West Coast of PA to the East Coast of PA.
Yep.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah.
And
good
New
job.
York,
All right. Good job. Bunch of guys up
New
there.
York third.
Ain't Brian Leclerc from New York?
Well, if you're in New York and you would drive south about 6 hours to Denton, Maryland.
Oh, he's from Denton, Maryland?
Yeah. And he fished for the Delaware team.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't think he was from Maryland. I thought he was from New York.
He's from Maryland, but he fishes for Delaware. So that's where we're at. Tomorrow's the top 24, and any boater or co-angler who is not in the top 24 already, but finished within the top 5 of their division. I don't know. It's some kind of slide rule. You need a slide rule, an abacus.
Well, they always take the top person from every state to fish. Make sure they fish for the championship.
You know what? I think you need a calculus program.
Because
Trigonometry comes into play.
Isn't that how you got to the classic? You were the one person from the from the region then. Well, to go to nationals.
It's all different
They
now.
always had one from each state.
Back when I was fishing, it was a 12-state region.
Yeah, they had one guy.
Now
from
it's
each
a
state.
5-state region.
Don't they always have one guy from each state going?
What each region?
Oh, each region.
Yeah.
5 regions.
Yeah.
The winner of each region.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. What do the other guys do?
Sing kumbaya and hold hands around a campfire.
What? So the guys from this tournament one guy goes to the nationals?
No, they're gonna send a boater and a co-angler from each state to nationals.
That's what I was saying. You said no.
No, you said classic.
No, I meant going to the nationals.
Yeah, one from each state.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. It was one from each state. One
And then
rider.
it's one from each region.
Then after that, it's one from each region.
One boater.
Oh, so that's
Back in my day, it was 12-state region.
right.
Yeah. But anyways,
Yeah.
we're getting all bogged down here again.
We
You're
are.
gonna go back. You're not gonna go back to that size 5 hook thing again.
No, but I do want to talk about Kevin Van Dam and how awesome the day one was. 28 plus pounds for him.
28 pounds, 1 ounce.
I mean, 28 plus.
Well, you're true. That's right.
28 plus.
It's 100%.
Why can't you just?
I agree.
Almost said it.
I agree.
Almost
I
dropped
agree
the F-bomb.
wholeheartedly.
Why can't you just go along with what
28
I said?
plus.
28 plus.
Hey, with this
Instead of being
tournament,
so freaking specific.
this tournament that's going up at Cayuga, they're catching a lot of spawning fish. Do you think because of the rules where they're throwing them back,
I think it freaking sucks, dude.
do you think they're recatching the same?
Because
fish?
Hell yeah, they are.
If I was in this tournament,
I just follow.
I would find a 6-pound smallie, and that son of a bitch would look like a pincushion by the end of this tournament. I would power pole down
Yeah.
and I'd catch them,
Over,
release them,
over and over and
catch
over.
'em,
30-pound day.
release them. I
I hate it.
There's nothing in the rules against it.
I hate it. I hate the whole thing.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely bullshit.
It is. I hate the whole
So
thing.
that's what you're seeing a lot. Okay.
Guaranteed.
But I mean, I wouldn't even move.
It's like
I would just stay power poled down the entire day and on 1 6-pounder.
catch them 5 times.
And my freaking
He'd have a
sheet,
30-pound bag
my
every
score
day.
sheet would say 6-1, 6.
Yeah, and after the tournament, that
And
fish,
that son of a bitch's scales would be off by the time I was done.
it'd be the only fish with no lips,
No
in-
lips
in the
left.
lake.
I'd be getting them with a drop shot hook. Nope. It's like you see these freaking guys with these freaking 300 piercings. That wouldn't even be
Well,
close
that's
to
what
that.
happened 2 years ago when they
Right.
did the St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
catch all you can.
Yeah.
They just kept catching the
They
same
did.
one
Same
over
fish
and over.
over
I
and
got a
over and over.
whole, I love all forms of competitive fishing, but this,
It's during the spawn. It's ridiculous. It's
I don't know how to
ridiculous.
speak
It really
in pig
is.
Latin, but if I could, I would be like,
Ixnay.
uppeth.
Ixnay.
Uppeth. Hey, you can't take it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
I'd have 31 pounds.
congratulations to Kevin Van Dam. I hope he can go back and punch holes in all those fish he caught on day one, because that would be great. You know,
How do you not?
well, it's like he said. He said, "Oh, this is the stretch where those big ones are." You know.
How do you not? Oh, well, I mean, it's to the point now where the announcers
Yeah.
are even referencing the
Yeah.
fact that the beautiful thing about our series is you can release this fish and you can catch it again tomorrow.
Yeah. They
Son
don't
of a
care.
bitch, I'll be catching that son of a bitch again in about 10 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
So
I'd
he
get
had
all the cameramen on me.
Group A, which is what he's in.
Yeah.
Had their second day today.
Yeah. He had 25 the last time I saw.
Yeah, it was at 52 pounds right now.
Yeah, 52, right.
Yeah.
But that goes to 0, which I don't get.
Yeah.
Did he lead Group A all the way through?
Yeah, so now he automatically qualifies, I
Yeah.
think, to the final day or something like that.
No,
No.
they don't do that.
Oh,
No.
He has to go to knockout round.
And
They
then-
only do that on heavy hitters and Red Crest.
Wait, let's break out the let me get my spreadsheet. Hang
Yeah,
on a
listen,
second.
it's paragraph 8, subparagraph 2,
hang on.
line 1, item A.
Hang on, I got to get my computer out with my spreadsheet, and you have to ask the question, and I have to go down and I got the AI tied into it right now, so
Well,
I'll
I
ask
mean, if
the
you don't know
AI.
your rules, I don't know.
I mean, hell,
What the hell's going on?
if
with
you're
Major League?
winning, what's the purpose of winning then after day 2?
I can't stand it.
Like,
Well, you can
That's
say
exactly
I
it.
won.
Well, that's a
but
bull-
you think you'd automatically qualify. for
Exactly.
It
the-
used to be that way.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
weird.
It's not like that anymore.
Or what about
I think you do get.
dominating the first 2 days?
I think you
and
do
then,
get bacon
and
and
then-
sausage on your sandwich on day 3.
and then the wind changes a little bit, and you come in with 20 pounds on day 3.
No. That's 6-1's getting called 5 times.
All right,
Not 8
guys,
hours.
we're gonna cut this out.
Yep. We're getting silly.
We're getting silly.
What's
so-
next week, boys? Do we have any idea?
Now
Break down the Ike tournament.
Yep, we're gonna break down the Ike tournament.
We're gonna break
We're gonna
down-
We're gonna do the walk around on the boat.
We're going to break down
And,
Van Dam's victory.
Yeah, Van Dam's victory, and then we're gonna walk around on a new boat.
I like your thinking.
The new cat.
the new Bass Cat,
Is that with or without motor?
because it's also going to be a sales
With.
pitch because I'm selling it. I'm going to sell it right away too. So anybody interested in the Bass Cat at a really good price?
Well, I can tell you what the price is going to be. $67,000. Because that's how much my jet boat is I ordered today.
Hey, what size boat is that? Do you know?
Well, it changes every year.
I think it's a 18.
Yeah, I think it's like 18 with a 150 on the back.
No, 115.
Last year it was a purple and silver one. And
I think it's great that you can fish a tournament like this and win a boat.
yeah, it's a glass boat.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, with a 115 Yamaha on the back. I mean, come on.
All I can say is
And the guy that won it
you
last
better
year,
watch out for Chuck Bass.
the guy that won it last year, he was like, "This is the greatest thing ever happened to me." Because
They got a registration from a guy by the name of Chuck Bass.
Chuck Bass.
It's an alias.
Mike, what do you think it's going to take?
23.
To win?
Yeah.
Well,
23.
unless they turn on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be 23. 23, 20, 23 in that range right there. It could go up, half a pound one way or the other. Just the way the
You
tournament.
know what I want to know?
What?
Speaking of the Ike tournament, I want to know our buddy from Virginia that was here last year for Tackle Shop Live.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Yeah. He was supposed to come for tonight. His boat broke down. Maybe he's having trouble with his boat.
His boat broke,
That's why he didn't come to the last one. Is
but we could have helped him. It broke up here?
no, he never made it.
Oh, my God.
He never made it. I think he blew up his motor.
The struggle is real on these boats, man.
Man, I'm sorry, I forget your name, brother. I know it. It's
Uh,
on tip of my tongue.
Brian fished with him last year.
Yes.
Great
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
Awesome dude. I
Yeah.
hope he's watching the show tonight.
He always does. And I'm really, really sorry that I can't remember your name. But I hope you got your boat fixed.
Might be the Wall Paul Pack largemouth logger speaking, but
Wallen Paul Pack, largemouth. Honest to God.
IPA.
Largemouth.
Mike, that was a courtesy of one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Can we shut the show down now? It's like It's like 2 hours and 6 minutes.
2 hours and 8 minutes.
It's unacceptable.
Get a shot of that wink. Got to zoom in. There it is. Largemouth Indian Pale Ale. And I was there, up there at the brewing company. It's pretty cool.
Well, he brought those beers in a while ago. I had one. It was great. And I gave it
Yeah.
to one of our customers who's like a beer geek, Maximus. And he wanted to know how to get them.
They're good. I'm telling you, that
So-
place up there is awesome. All right. Nick Wink,
You ready to go, Nick?
cameraman Nick.
Heck yeah. Good luck this week, Mike.
I can't believe you're not fishing.
Well, sold the boat.
Still
Yeah,
got the
but your
tracker?
dad has one.
He's going to be in Raystown.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're-
But next week,
Hey, you had the tracker?
yeah.
What?
Next week, we will be up at the St. Lawrence.
Oh,
Yeah.
we fishing the
The Thayers.
Thayers up there?
Yep.
All right, good.
Well, we'll get at them.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
yeah.
good. Well, I'm going to go down and represent down at the Bay for Tackle Shop Live. And George's going to stay here and work.
Are you going to challenge Pete Gluzik? I
I
would take a big red bandana and throw it down at his feet. Listen, Gluzik,
Listen, I don't like the side of the street you're on.
I don't want to hear nothing but nothing because it's on.
Yeah. You think
I hope he's watching tonight.
you think
too.
you came in second place? What place did he come in when it opened down there?
Doesn't matter.
He came in top 5.
Doesn't matter.
You think you're that good? Let's
That's
bring
old
it.
school.
I'm going to show you something because I wasn't in that term. I'm going to show you something.
You're gonna hit him for so many rights. You're gonna beg for a left.
Thank you, everybody, for stopping in for another great edition of Tackle Shop Live.
I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair and your beautiful smile. Your sense of humor makes it all worthwhile. Don't make me wait, it's not a funny game. You know just what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine.